A pleasant day to everyone. My name is Adrian LCB, and at this moment, we are going to tackle about the potential environmental risk caused by GMOs. Nowadays, most of us people would think how our world drastically changed as it was before. From the use of primitive tools way back ancient civilizations which every people had used in their daily resources, up to the present times. Part of this global development is how the world's natural resources have been used as one of the subjects of science and technology. Sounds alarming, right? But that's just not the case. So, over the years of our consumption about the products we usually consumed, from fruits, vegetables, medicine, and up to those artificial products we buy from the supermarket, is that have you ever asked yourself or wonder why other products are different from the usual in terms of their quality, color, and size? Why are there mangoes that are red and violet, which in fact only green and yellow are usually seen? With all these viewpoints I have discussed, we are also aware that these could possibly mean that there is what we call the genetically modified organisms, or GMOs. Now, GMOs are one of the most controversial areas of science. Genetic engineering is used in many fields, but even though medical applications like GM insulin are widely accepted, the debate heats up when it comes to food and agriculture. Considering the fact that GMOs have both positive and negative effects to food, agriculture, and to us humans, and the reasons why talking about this topic creates two contrasting views that will more likely lead to a debate. As what I've seen in some videos on the internet, I was surprised and fascinated at the same time about the content of each video being posted, showing some fruits that are oddly different in terms of their color and size compared to their usual fruits. From that video, I was able to observe that those fruits are not natural as they look, because the way they were being cut with a knife was done swiftly and perfectly, as if there were no seeds in it. Other fruits like papayas are grown much taller than an ordinary papaya. That being said, several scientists and researchers have proven the positive effects of GMOs to the organism itself. This time, let us talk about the negative side of GMOs, especially its potential risk to our environment. It's hard to believe that genetically modified organisms have this kind of negative effect to the environment. Because as what I've read and heard from various sources of information, most scientists really believe that GMOs can positively affect the growth and quality of a specific product. Unfortunately, as time passed by, some of us have noticed about the changes it creates, like how their experiments have gone further to the point that they hold some animals as their subject of experiment, putting the life of an animal at risk. In some cases, due to the negative effects that the GMOs have, alongside with this is the potential risk it gives to the environment. According to research, some environmental concerns of GMO is the risk of outcrossing, where genes from GMO foods pass into wild plants and other crops. How is this possible? Well, one reason that could lead this from happening comes from the factory buildings in that particular place, when scientists plan to create GM crops approved for animal feed or industrial will be found at low levels in products for human consumption. If this occurs, there's a high tendency that outcrossing might happen in which the genes from GM plants migrate into conventional crops or wild species. As a result, there may be an indirect effects on food security and food safety. Another environmental concern of GMOs is its negative impact on insects and other species. Others might ask, how were insects and other species considered as part of the environmental concern? The fact that they also contribute to the environment in which they keep the cycle of biodiversity in balance, then there shouldn't be any doubts about it. Like humans, insects and other species must be considered as part of the environment. And the last environmental concern would be the reduction in other plant types, leading to a loss of biodiversity. The use of some genetically modified crops can have negative impacts on non-target organisms and on soil and water ecosystems. For example, the expansion of GM herbicide-tolerant corn and soy, which are twined with herbicides, has destroyed much of the habitat of the monarch butterfly in North America. Reduction in the population of plants will more likely to happen if there is too much chemical being put in that organism, affecting not just the development of a single plant, but in other plants as well. To conclude, there are advantages and disadvantages in using genetic engineering in both fields of medicine, food, and agriculture. There are controversies that are still debatable up to the present. There is still a long way to go for GMOs to prove itself, as humans seek answers to life's predicaments.